So going into your second, would it be safe to say that the Brave Effect was born during your second term?
Oh, definitely. I put the brave thing together while I was in prison.
Okay. Around what year? To give the people some context.
I went back in 13. The brave effect. I probably I had started writing the plan. I had started writing my plans down, like knowing that I wanted. The brave effect actually started off as a youth organization. That's what I wrote the plans for. So to anybody writing, one thing that they taught me in there is your business plan is never complete. So don't ever leave it like it's complete. Like it's complete. Hey, y'all take that to the backyard. All right.
So
Um.
so what actually went into you? What made you come up with the Brave Effect altogether?
Well, see, once I started helping people, and while I was locked up, I knew that I wanted to help people. I knew I had a thing for helping people. So, um, and then I said I wanted to the same community that I brought destruction. I wanted to, what I'm saying, bring construction. So I wanted to build it back up. I wanted to. And I also had said, as they did the whole 32 worst to the worst, I had made a vow that if they did that, if they put me out there the way that they did to destroy me, I was gonna make them wish that they had chose somebody else.
Wow. So do you think you succeeded in making them wish?
For them, mission failed. Urgh.
So, I mean, I know you probably don't care, but what do you think your family felt when they seen you plastered on the screen like that and to the media, to the public, as the worst of the worst? Well, how do you think that made your family feel? Because what they fail to realize, they don't understand that it's just not the people that they are doing what they do to are arresting. It's a whole family. There was 32 families involved.
Right. So I seen a lot of hurt. I seen a lot of shame. I seen a lot of wanting justice, wanting the truth. A lot of lies was put into that in order to sell what they were selling, which was a story. Um, did you have a lot of people committing crime? Of course you did. To the degree and with what they gave them, that was false. So they juiced it up to sell what they needed to sell. I always, like I said earlier before, yes, I sold drugs. And when I sold them, I sold all I get my hands on. But here it is. When you put 32 men on the front page and plaster them across the city as the worst of the worst, the first thing you would think and what they told when they was getting the search warrants was that they was gonna bring down the violence. Well, what I found to be very disturbing was that out of 32 men that was on there, and I always tell people to go back and look at the charges, only one person was charged with a crime of violence. Everybody else, it was like drugs and other stuff. So, you know, where's the worst? Like, make it make sense. On the surface, it looked like woo, oh, this, that, and other. But when you begin to peel back the layers and look beneath the surface, uh, you seen something different. And what, like, one thing that really bothered me, because they picked up a lot of like young guys, and it just really, like, all I seen was like the grandmothers in my mind. Like, I started visioning like the grandmothers. When we envision grandmother, we envision them like with that purse hanging off their arm and going to see about they baby. You know what I'm saying? They loved one. And no, we were not angels. That's not what I'm saying. However, I seen a lot of distraught, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, in the faces of the family members, the mothers. Like, I can only imagine, what it was like for my mom to, go to church, go to the grocery store, go throughout public, and people whispering like, that's her, her two sons, it was them, the worst of the worst, and this, that, and the other. So, you know, I don't know what it felt like to be a parent or a family member on the outside of that. I don't know what that feels like, but for somebody that was going through it, I know what that felt like, and I know what it felt like to want to fight and say, you know, because I fought like hell, and to say, nah, y'all, y'all wasn't truthful about what y'all gave. And without being truthful, had you just said these guys sold dope and these guys did that, that would have been one thing. But to try to say that, we control gangs with drugs and all the stuff that they said about that, like that was totally false. But that was what they gave in order to get the wiretaps and the search warrant. So, you know, my heart went out to the family members more than anything, and it goes deeper than that. Like I deal with reentry, so how many broken, how many relationships between fathers and their sons and daughters, were ruined, and then I have to go back and we have to take some accountability to, the survival that we was in and the lifestyle that we still chose, although being in survival. Like it's it's a lot of mental stuff go on. It's a lot of, not being in position. I don't like to use the word poverty a whole lot, which is true, but I don't like the poverty pimp. That's my thing. I'm not here to sell anybody's, poor story or poverty story in order to get this, that. And I'm all about, how can we enhance? How can we, enrich? How do we build our people up, so that we can, so that we can pass that, so that we can begin, what I'm saying, to kill what's out there, what's being put out there only. Because if you look around, you will see that there's a lot of us that comes from the culture of being in prison that come home, and man, we very successful. I always tell people, look at it like this. Just imagine this.
Okay.
This country, we are very valuable in this country, and we are a culture within ourselves, meaning convicted felons. And imagine if everybody that had a convicted felon, that was once convicted of a felony, what if we decided not to work and all lay down for a week? Where would this country be?
We'll be in bad shape.
How many people would not go to work? How many companies would be in trouble?
Yeah.
How would the economy be affected if we all decided not to work for 1 week? That's how powerful we are.
So before I go into my next question, you also mentioned that your another family member, which is your brother, was involved in that as well.
Hmm.
So not only are you dealing with your time, but you seeing your brother going through the same thing. So
We
what was?
sat in,
Go
we
ahead.
sat in that Bradley County jail in that cell together for almost 2 years.
So help me out with this. Y'all was arrested, if I'm correct, in Hamilton County, right?
Hmm.
But they sent y'all to Bradley County. Why do you think that was?
Several reasons. Probably so you wouldn't have all of the people on, because there was more than one conspiracy. But I mean, you don't want them all together because at that point there's strength in numbers. What if you had five Joe Jenkins that was pushing that case and fighting the way that they was fighting, and there were other guys that they were fighting and their attorneys are fighting. But at this point, we can begin to build our case and our defense because we would all be together saying, wait a minute, this ain't true, that ain't true, wait a minute, this, that. We pulled together and we all began to strengthen each other, and give each other knowledge on just the truth of the matter of what's going on. Not so much as to get out of selling dope or to get off of just selling dope, but it's the fact of, okay, this was wrong, that was wrong. And they did this either ill informed, they did this with intentional, because there was a lot of false identification going on. So, man, you probably bust their case wide open, just to be honest.
And if I remember correctly, I don't even think while y'all was in the Bradley County jail, y'all couldn't even receive like paper mail. Like if I want to say I want to write one of the guys a letter with and send it in through paper. If correct me if I'm wrong, because I think I know someone who was there and you couldn't even receive paper, and it was almost like y'all had to receive like cardboard mail or something like that. But I
I
could be.
think it's something I can't remember. It's been a while, but it was either you could receive a card or a certain type of card. Because I remember, man, my pastor tried to write me. He died since, because I had wrote him a letter, and he wrote me a letter. He wrote me back, but I never got the letter based upon the type of mail that we could and couldn't receive, and he didn't know.
Yeah, yeah. So that so let's go into this. What does the because Brave the word brave and the brave effect is an acronym. So give us the acronym.
Building relationships and valuable encounters.
So what I know sitting in the cell, you seeing what's going on. Where were you actually housed when the initial thought came? Were you actually in prison or still in the Bradley County jail?
Now, at that time, I think when I came up with Brave and the whole acronym, I was at uh, Morgantown, West Virginia.
So give the people like as you go coming up with the initial
I,
thing, what was going through your mind?
all right, let's see. We got probably about 10 more minutes left. All right, let's see. So when I came up with that, the building relationships and valuable encounters, what I understood then was I was put in a camp, and in the camp, that's minimum security, and in the camp, you are surrounded by more people, more. I want to say, people that's just in there for like crimes of money. You in there with more. Let me put it like this. That might be wrong. So you were put in there like that's where most of your doctors, lawyers, politicians, and stuff like that.
Blue
People that,
collar, what they would consider
yes,
blue collar criminals.
yeah. That's not high security criminals. How about that?
Okay.
So when my security, I go back in, and when my security drops down to a minimum, now I'm around people that's they like you said they blue collar, so they got all type of businesses and this that and other. And like I said earlier, I made up in my mind that I was gonna surround myself with a different type of people. So if I wanted different out of life, I had to do something different. And I always say this: in the streets, in the criminal lifestyle, we live in a box. We don't trust nobody outside that box. That's just our lifestyle. Whatever goes on in that box, that's pretty much where we our understanding. That's as far as we go. But that for me, that wasn't where success was. Success was outside that box. So I had to come outside the box of the norm and begin to befriend and build those relationships. And at that point, I was like, man, you know what? And I understood like relationships are worth. They could be worth more than money. Relationships will get you further than money can. And then how do I make each encounter valuable? Like even if I didn't always walk away with something that I like, what didn't I like, and how do I learn something from that experience to make that experience valuable to me? Every experience isn't pleasant, but I can still take something valuable away from it.
Okay. So what went being in the brave effect, you had to go build a relationship and an encounter to get back into the jails.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So once I'm released, I had to
Yeah.
build different relationships. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had to cross that line. I had to be willing to. So when I was in there, I made up my mind like regardless of who did what, like I knew that I had issue with the city of Chattanooga. Like I felt like they moved on, they moved on a lot of ill information. But if I came out and I was gonna be battling like all administration, all officials, all what I'm saying, police, the city, the mayor, this, that, and the other, like I didn't feel like that I would gain what I needed to gain for the people to be at odds with everybody. Like you got to be able to sit down and have certain conversations if I'm really coming to help the people. So I had already did my time, and that was water under the bridge pretty much at that time. Yeah, the worst of the worst. Yeah, I got the time. Yeah, I did this, that, and other. Okay, now what? Okay, now what? You know what I'm saying? What how am I gonna build myself? How am I gonna build my family? How am I gonna pour something out into the community? Because if I come out on hate, then I'm still, what I'm saying, that don't help. I can't give out hate and expect to get something good out of it. Can't expect, what I'm saying, my people to get something good out of it, the people that I'm trying to reach. So, how do you maneuver? How do you build those relationships? And ultimately, like I said, the fruit in the hand that I was dealt, it wasn't a good hand. It wasn't a good hand. It wasn't a prosperous hand. It wasn't a healthy hand. You know what I'm saying? My mental, you know what I'm saying? Our mental, most of us, I push mental health. I push it, I push it, I push it because what we come up in and we be messed up mentally. So how are we dealing with that? Do we just feel like, oh, that's for the white folks, or that's a shrink, this, that, and other? And what I tell people often, because part of coming on to the Brave and being in the Brave program, there's two prerequisites. One of them is you have to write out a 3-year plan, and now you have to do 2 sessions of mental health therapy because just about all of us have issues that we dealing with, if nothing more. And how do I make it make sense to the people that's coming out, to my culture, to the black people, or to the surviving people, or whatever? I tell them, man, when you was in jail, Your mom pissed you off. Your old lady pissed you off. Your kids piss you off. What you wait though? What you do? You wait to go holler at your homie and y'all go walk that track for an hour and you dump all your stuff on him. Well, he was unlicensed. So why don't you go dump it on somebody that can help you tap in that's licensed? Like you was still doing it. You was doing mental health. You was just doing it with an unlicensed individual. People get off and they do it on Facebook. Soon as they don't like something, they get right on there with a bunch of unlicensed individual and they dump all their stuff on there. Like, man, come on. Why don't you just go sit down and have a conversation and tap in to see where you might really be messed up? I'm sure you got some issues. I had some issues. I had some childhood issues. I had some things that I had to go back and sit down and talk just to express with my mom how I really felt about the way that I was brought up. That's not gonna change nothing. But at least you get to lay it on the table. A lot of relationships, even in the streets with different people or whatever, man, it's just that you ain't laid it on the table. You didn't sit down and have a grown man conversation. I'm sure it goes on in the culture, in the streets, in the gang culture, in the business culture. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of people that, they break up, because of, whatever went on and it bothered them and emotions got big and feelings jumped all in and it didn't get addressed properly. And without it being addressed properly, it's hard to move on. It's hard to move on coming out of a bad divorce. It's hard to move on when you doggone didn't treat your mom or your dad or your brother right. Then they die on you. You can never get a chance to say to them what you wish you always said. You can never simply say, man, I loved you. All I wanted you to do was, or all I wanted you to understand, or this, that, and other. Man, the opportunity is gone. You never get it back. It's something mental that you're dealing with. And you need to talk to somebody so you can figure out, they can help you understand on how to move forward.
So, who would, if you could recommend, because mental health is very important, if you could recommend some places for people to go, what would be a few places you would recommend people to go to get help with their mental health?
I'm gonna give you one guy because I deal with him on a regular, and I guess if I'm gonna give a shout out, I give it out to Jay Armstrong. He is a mental health therapist. He's in the black community, and me and him, we became. That's who I went to first. Well, not first because sometimes you got to find the one that's for you. But I went to him and I appreciate him. I appreciate the stuff he made me tap in. I went to him on an issue one time, or one of my first issues, and it was basically like how to deal with my children coming home. I've been gone 13 years out of their life. They feel a way, I feel a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Those relationships are messed up, man. And a lot of times the kids got shit that they want to say, and
Yeah.
then a lot of us come back into their life. I'm dead. I'm this. I'm that. Wait a minute. You ain't been dead. You been locked up. You left me out here for everybody else. You
Yeah.
daughters, you understand? We leave our daughters out here to be raised by other dudes, whether we like it or not. We leave them out here unprotected and unsheltered. Same thing with our boys. So you know what I'm saying? They just may need a space to say that. And you might need to shut the fuck up and let them get that off their chest and
Yeah.
feel where they're coming from. Because as a father, man, you drop the ball. And that's why I be talking about a position versus survival. A position father ain't gonna leave their children out here like that.
Say that again.
A position father or mother not gonna leave their children out here like that. You're not gonna be running around, you understand what I'm saying, talking about the homies, this, that, and else, to put yourself in a predicament to have to be in prison, and then the homie or whoever or the streets or another raise your children. Or your children's mom because she ain't been raised yet either. She trusted you with her life.
Yeah.
And you led her wrong. She jumped on the bandwagon believing in your dream. Not knowing that your dream was rotten because you ain't really had nothing worth offering. All you had to offer was survival.
So also, let's go into this.
How we gonna go into it, man? You got 2 minutes.
Oh, real quick, real quick. What name the first name the first relationship you built off from after leaving prison with the officers or the officials that helped you re-enter the jails or the prison?
The first relationship I built, I got to give it to the first person that actually took the time out and gave me a shot out here, man. And the first relationship I built was Ron King.
Shout out Pastor Ron King.
Yeah, that was the first man. I met them the day I met Ron King. Ron King bought me a laptop. Brought it to my daughter the day I met him in person. And then from there, I met, you know what I'm saying, I built a relationship, met Tony Oliver. And you already know me and T.O., we rock, you know what I'm saying, and the list goes on. You know, you know what I'm saying, I mean, I tapped in, reaching across that line. I tapped in with Troy Rogers. But if I'm gonna keep it all the way funky, one of the first people I had a list, a targeted list that I was gonna hit when I got out. And and an additional person that I built a relationship, I called him within the first 2 weeks that I was out. That was Glenn Scruggs. He just retired from the police department. I knew that I wanted to call Glenn.
Out of all people, what made you want to call Glenn Scruggs? He a great dude, by the way.
Glenn Scruggs, because I knew that you know, when you in them streets, man, you know the cops that kind of be that's on bullshit, and you know the cops that's, man, doing their job, and they chose a career. And I just felt like I never felt that Glenn Scruggs wouldn't be level headed if I approached him and say, man, I want to give back where I fucked up. I want to give back where I destructed, and I didn't feel like that he would come at, or that he would put anything on the table that would go against what I stand for. You know, and that's just what it was. So I felt that there was a place that I can go and say, man, this is kind of what I'm giving back, and how do I go about it? And because it's always with the street guys, for the most part, between the street guys and the cops, it's always like fuck 12, this, that, and other. But if I'm gonna be all the way honest, like if it wasn't for guards, I wouldn't have been able to get a lot of case law that I got, because they was bringing me case law. My people couldn't send it to me, and my attorney. Like a lot of times, people don't talk about like the times that an officer might have seen you in the wrong. And you understand what I'm saying? They pretty much knew you was in the wrong. It ain't like they seen you with a gun in nobody's head or nothing like that and let you go. But they pretty much know that you was out of pocket. And bro, come on, man. If we had to have a conversation right now, it probably wouldn't be, you know what I'm saying, your best interest. And I'm not saying that that's how it went down with Glenn, but that everybody know that every officer ain't gunned at them every time. And so I um I knew that if I was keeping it real, because we only talk about the bad apple or the bad experience, and we gun everybody down for that. But I think that you know when you have somebody that's, as like I said, as Glenn Scruggs has been, he never asked me about anything about what went on in the streets, and I never asked him to give me a pass or to give my people a pass. When we sat down and talked, we talked about how the brave affect the move. And as you seen, when it came time to do running down recidivism and stuff like that, what I got going on with the brave effect, Glenn Scruggs was, yo, we got you. We gonna, you know what I'm saying, we gonna be a part of that. I like what you're doing. Keep going, yada yada yada. And I just felt that that was a good and safe space to push what I'm trying to do for the community, because I feel like he is for the community.
So my last question, and then we'll give. Well, I'm gonna want you to give some shout outs.
I don't
Run,
know about no shout outs, man, because I'm gonna forget somebody, man. I can't do that.
hey man, that's fine, man. I got to put it on the table.
Shout out to everybody who done supported the Brave. Everybody go ahead. I'll let you ask your question first.
Okay, running down recidivism.
Yes.
Explain exactly what that looks like for the people who don't know, who want to get involved.
First of all, we got to explain what recidivism is. Most people don't even know what the word means. So
Absolutely.
recidivism means that's the act of continue to go back to jail, like to repeat going in jail. The rate of recidivism is so high, that everybody, what I'm saying, pretty much know, like people are constantly going back to jail. I forget what it was, what the numbers was. I don't want to misquote for all the people that want to doggone fact check me, but it's ridiculous. And so to bring as Brave Effect being a reentry, and we want to target on people stop going to jail. We want to help households get in position. Like we want to run down that rate. So when I put the race together, we're running, what I'm saying, and we're coming together up under one roof, up under one cause, to say that none of us agree and none of us want people to continue to go back and forth into jail. And so let's all stand together for one cause, and let's run down the rate of recidivism. And for me, it's also a great opportunity for people to network, and it's me point with the relationships that I built in the community on the other side of the streets. It's me bringing the streets and saying, and my culture that I come from, saying, look, all of them over there, all of them don't want us back in jail. All of them don't want us back in jail. Actually, they running for us. They out here to support us staying out of jail and being in better positions for our families and households. And that's, you know what I'm saying, I want to create that, continue to create that platform, because if we think that everybody is against us, then we never willing to sit down and have a real conversation to see how we can go back and get some more people and bring them out of what we've been in.
Man, I appreciate you for being on the Deprogram Show. What you got? What you got coming up
Hey,
next?
hold on, man. You better. Hey, the people need, what's up over there. The people need to know, man, how to get in contact, how to tap in, how to see what we doing. So Brave Effect is on all social media platforms. It's just like that. The Brave Effect with an E. And also, man, go check out that website. It's thebraveeffect.org. Go check out the website. I've also written a book. It's a positioning guide, and the book was designed for the guys that's still on the inside. That's when I initially wrote it, but I found out that a lot of people on the outside that it helped them. I've had people walk up to me in grocery stores and tell me, "Man, I never met you, but somebody brought your book from Silverdale up to, I don't know if it was Bledsoe or Hardeman County or whatever." He said, and they gave me the book. He said, "Man, my life been changed ever since." So I do want to give God all praise and thank God for, inspiring me to write the book, so that it can help people that's on the inside. I talked to another guy the other day out of Silverdale, and he said he had to check the guy because somebody was sweeping up some dust with one of the books, the pamphlet. So, it is reaching in. Like I said, go to thebraveeffect.org. If you know anybody that's serious and want to tap me into the brave culture and what we doing in the community, don't hesitate to reach out. We are not a get out of jail free card. I don't rock like that. I'm not here to change anybody's mind. I'm only here to help the change mind, to maintain and maintenance that change, man. So I'm not the one to say, please change this. There's plenty of programs out there to beg people to change. Like, I don't got time for that. I don't influence my team to do that. But for those who want to change, we want to link up with them, tap them into the resources that we have on hand to help them. I think this year we push into where, like lately we've been holding classes. We collab with Tech Goes Home. And we probably, I think as of right now, we've put in like 30 laptops into different households in the Chattanooga area and surrounding areas, because some come from out of town, just to help them get the basic knowledge of Google and to put laptops in those homes. So whatever it is that we can do to uplift the households, to keep the families together and help people get in position, that's what we're doing. Shout out to everybody who has supported the Brave, who has said the Brave, whatever you've done to support the Brave, I really appreciate it. Hey, we definitely need those people out there that want to invest, that want to donate. You can donate to the Brave, you can do whatever. Just come on in, man. Check out the website. Hey, shout out to the D program for having us on, man. Thanks. I think this was very informative. Hey, tap into Joe Jenkins. Somebody, hey, book us for your next speaking engagement. Let me murder that thing.
Hey, so before I leave, man, before we get out of here, I
You
need some
said that
merch.
10 minutes ago.
Hey, man, don't
You said
start
that.
that.
You said that. You said
So
that 10 minutes ago.
you gonna do me
You
like,
said that 10
man,
minutes ago,
forget
man.
it. Well, it's over with.
I'm still that same
Hold on, man.
dude, man. I know when you trying to pop it on me, man. You trying to keep on hold
I'm
me,
just
man.
gonna say this and it's over with. What
Now
I
come on with it.
need some merchandise, and when is the next race, man? I want to run. I gotta
The
help.
next, if you ain't, hey, I'm telling you, if you don't run, I'm blast your ass. You don't
That's
come out
why I
there.
said it on the thing. I know how you
Everybody going
the
down.
D
D
program show.
program, man.
I
Listen,
am
that thing will
JR.
go.
Come
That
on with
thing
me.
will be
Win the
that
next
thing.
race.
I have my people put a doggone thing together with that thing going down in flames. You hear me?
Come on with it.
All right. The next one is to be announced, but it will be 2024. It's to be announced. Um, and we're gonna have some unlimited, some limited edition only merch coming soon. I am not the t-shirt man. I tell people that all the time. When I get them, I'm mostly trying to get them on people. Yes, you can come. I sell some, but I never want to be that guy that every time you see me, I'm trying to sell you something, because I need you to get the message of positioning over everything. And then with that, your heart should tell you, man, let me get some of this merch and put it on, because it's a good thing going.
Hey man, for the record, I wouldn't even ask where I can get the merch if I didn't believe in what's going down.
Man, tap into me. I'll get you something, man. I'll lace you with it, man. You better put that thing on the deprogram show, man.
Hey, that's why I'm trying to get it. Hey man, this has been another great episode of the D Program Show with the one, the only Joe Jenkins, Mr. Brave Effect himself.
We
And
out.
we out of here.